Welcome to Deepcast Philosophy and Podcasts.
Great to be here.
Today, we're diving into, well, a really profound question, one that thinkers have wrestled with for ages. When do we stop being human?
Hmm. It's not simple, is it? Not just biological.
No, exactly. It's much deeper. About what fundamentally makes us human in the first place.
And our main guide for this exploration is Hannah Arendt, a huge figure in 20th century political thought.
Absolutely. We'll be leaning heavily on her key work, The Human Condition, but also looking at some of her other writing.
Right, the ones that really shine a light on her unique take on this whole question.
And we've also got a bunch of other sources lined up, things looking at dehumanization, how that works.
Reflections on mortality, fear of death, nature of human action. Different lenses, really.
Yeah, different angles to help us examine Arndt's ideas and see, how relevant they still feel today.
The goal, I think, is to pull out the really crucial insights from all this material.
Right. Help everyone listening grasp the core of what Arndt was getting at without getting totally bogged down.
Hopefully spark a few aha moments along the way. Give it some structure.
Okay, let's dive in then. Arendt starts with this really important distinction, doesn't she, between the human condition and human nature.
Yes, that's fundamental. For her, human nature is maybe some fixed essence, something we might speculate about. But the human condition, that's about the circumstances we find ourselves in. Life on Earth.
The basic setup of our existence here.
Exactly. And flowing from these conditions, she identifies three essential human activities.
Labor, work, and action.
Precisely. And understanding how she defines these is absolutely key to getting her argument about what it means to be, well, fully human.
Okay, so let's start with labor. My understanding is this is the really basic stuff. Biological life, survival.
Pretty much. It's tied directly to the life process itself. Think metabolism, growth, keeping the body alive.
Like farming just to eat, day after day, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's about meeting immediate needs, producing things for consumption, for survival. It's cyclical, necessary, but maybe not uniquely human in her view, as all living things labor in a sense.
Okay, then comes work. This feels like a step up, creating things.
Yeah, work is different. It's about making durable things, objects that last beyond the immediate need for consumption. It's about building a world.
A human-made world separate from just raw nature, like tools, houses, art.
Exactly. It involves intention, fabrication.
Yeah.
Creating an artificial human world that provides some stability and permanence outlasting individual lives. This creates what she calls worldliness.
Got it. Okay, so labor for survival, work for building a world, and then there's action. This seems like the big one for art.
Oh, absolutely central. Action for her is the highest activity. It happens directly between people. No intermediary object needed.
In the public sphere, right?
Yes, in the space where we appear to each other. It's tied intrinsically to human plurality, the fact that we live on Earth not as man in the singular, but men and women in the plural, each unique.
And freedom comes in here, too.
Critically, action is where our freedom is most manifest. It's about initiating things, starting something new. And it involves both deeds and words. You can't separate them.
Revealing who we are, not just what we are. Is that the idea?
That's exactly it. Through action and speech in the presence of others, we disclose our unique identity, our who. It's about spontaneity, beginning something unexpected.
It's inherently political then, in a broad sense, happening among people.
Definitely. It requires that shared public space, that space of appearance. Without it, action can't really happen.
Okay, so if action is so crucial for being fully human, in her view, then losing the ability to act, that's where the danger lies.
Precisely. A key part of dehumanization for Arendt is losing that place in the world, losing the stage, essentially, where meaningful action is even possible.
Like losing your political community, your status.
Yes. Becoming stateless, rightless, losing that public sphere where you can appear and act among equals. Stephanie Rosenmüller's work really highlights this, how losing that place leads toward a kind of lawlessness and expulsion from humanity's common world.
And what about things like mass society? The pressure to conform, does that threaten action?
Arendt was very concerned about that. The rise of what she called the social, where behavior norms and conformity take over, can shrink or even eliminate the public realm needed for genuine action.
Because action is about uniqueness, about standing out, not fitting in.
Exactly. Mass society tends towards treating people as interchangeable, focusing on behavior rather than action, which erodes the space for individuality and initiative. It can even dampen that desire to leave a unique mark through deeds and words.
So totalitarianism. That would be the ultimate endpoint of this process for her, the complete destruction of that space.
Yes. Totalitarianism, in her analysis, doesn't just want to limit freedom, it aims for total domination. It seeks to make spontaneous action, and thus human freedom and uniqueness, fundamentally impossible, to destroy plurality itself.
Wow. Okay. Let's bring in some of the other sources on dehumanization itself. There's work by Susie Kilmister,
Right, Kilmister offers a useful framework. She talks about dehumanization potentially involving uh, expelling people from the social category human.
which is a category we kind of construct socially, right? Through norms and rules.
Exactly. Rules about who counts as human and rules about how humans ought to be treated.
Mm.
Kilmister also talks about hermeneutical dehumanization.
What's that exactly?
It's about how our shared understanding, our social imagination can be warped. How the very meaning of being human can be altered in ways that exclude certain groups, impacting how they see themselves and how others see them.
And we have those grim historical examples. The AMA Journal excerpts mention the Holocaust.
Yes, those texts show clearly how groups were systematically portrayed as less than human, as pests, vermin, diseases. It's a way to bypass normal moral inhibitions against harming others.
Making persecution psychologically easier.
Exactly. That's a point made elsewhere, too. Dehumanization lowers the barrier to violence. If you don't see someone as truly human, the rules change. Animalization is a common tactic, stripping away rights.
And this ties back to Rosenmüller's analysis of Arendt, doesn't it? That idea of becoming stateless, rightless,
Yeah.
losing your place in any community.
It does. For Arendt, losing that political belonging, that protection of law, means you essentially cease to appear in the world as a human being entitled to rights. You're expelled from the human community in a very concrete way.
But Arendt isn't all doom and gloom, is she? There's this idea of action as a kind of miracle.
Yes, that's the flip side. She emphasizes this incredible human capacity to begin something new, something unpredictable, to interrupt automatic processes.
Because each person is unique. A new beginning enters the world with every birth.
That's the concept of natality. It's central to her thought, drawing from Augustine. Instead of focusing only on mortality, on death, Arendt stressed birth natality as the core of the human condition. Each birth brings the potential for novelty, for freedom, for action.
A constant source of renewal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A guarantee almost that the world can be changed, that the future isn't predetermined.
So participating in that public sphere, using speech, taking action, that's how we realize this potential, how we are human.
Precisely. Engaging publicly, revealing our who through words and deeds. That is the experience of freedom and full humanity for Arendt. It's not about creating a life like a product, but participating in this ongoing unfolding drama with others.
Okay, so let's try and pin it down. According to Arendt, when do we really risk losing our humanity? What are the warning signs?
Well, fundamentally, when the conditions for meaningful action disappear.
Like under totalitarian control.
Yes, or through the sheer pressure of mass society conformity, or when that vital public sphere just fades away or becomes inaccessible.
And also when we're reduced just to laboring beings, focused only on survival.
Right, when we become primarily animal laborers, stuck in the cycle of biological necessity, consumption, survival.
Right.
Without the space or capacity for creating a lasting world through work, and especially without the space for revealing our uniqueness through action.
Losing individuality, being treated as just one of the crowd.
Yes. When our uniqueness and our capacity for initiative are suppressed. When we're seen as interchangeable, unable to disclose that who through our distinctive words and deeds.
And finally, that loss of a place in the world, becoming stateless, rightless.
Absolutely critical for Arendt. Losing that political home, that community recognition, means you effectively lose the ability to appear and be recognized as human in the world that matters, the shared human world.
It's interesting that point about the human-animal distinction. You mentioned her views might have shifted slightly.
Yeah, there's some suggestion of that. In the human condition, the line seems clearer. Humans build a world, animals don't in the same way. But later, in the life of the mind, maybe there's more nuance.
How so?
Hints that maybe both humans and animals are of the world in a fundamental sense, and that plurality, existing as many, is a basic law of the earth, not just a human thing. So while world building and political action might be uniquely human capacities, the interconnectedness is broader.
Okay, so bringing this into today, it really makes you think about, say, technology, social media. How does that impact our ability for genuine action in a public sphere?
That's a huge question, isn't it?
Mm.
Do these platforms create new public spheres, or do they sometimes trap us in echo chambers? Do they encourage genuine dialogue and action, or just performance and reaction? It's complex.
And the way language is used to dehumanize groups. We still see that constantly, online, in politics.
Absolutely. The examples are everywhere. Labeling groups, using animalistic metaphors, stripping away complexity. The mechanisms aren't worried about are still very much active. That hidden true crime example of calling people zombies is chillingly direct.
Yeah. And the historical examples like Nazi propaganda just show how dangerous that path is.
Utterly. It paves the way for atrocities by making them seem acceptable, even necessary.
Which really highlights the importance of defending those spaces for real political participation, for free speech, for dissent.
Exactly. For Arendt, maintaining a vibrant, pluralistic public sphere where different voices can clash and cooperate, where people can actually act together, that's not just nice to have. It's essential for preserving our humanity. It's the antidote.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. For Hannah Arendt, it seems we risk ceasing to be fully human, not when our heart stops beating, but when the conditions for a truly human life vanish.
Right, when we lose the shared world built through work. And crucially, when we lose the ability to act freely and meaningfully within that world alongside other unique individuals.
When plurality is crushed, when the public sphere disappears, when we can no longer reveal our unique who through deeds and words.
That's the core of it. Losing our political home, our ability to participate, pushes us away from a fully human existence towards mere biological life, or worse.
It's a powerful and maybe slightly unnerving framework for thinking about what it means to be human.
It really is. Her ideas, and the other sources we looked at, push us to think about the importance of our own actions, how we engage with the world, with each other, and the absolute need for spaces where our unique voices matter.
Well, we definitely encourage everyone listening to explore these ideas more. We'll put links to Hannah Arendt's The Human Condition and some of the other relevant works in the description box below.
Please do check them out. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you found this discussion thought-provoking, please subscribe to Deepcast, Philosophy, and Podcasts for more.
And don't forget to hit that bell button so you get notified about new deep dives.
Please share the link if you know others who might find this interesting. And we genuinely love to hear your thoughts. When do you think we stop being human? What parts of Arendt's thinking resonate with you today? Let us know.